It's about the simplest bait you can possibly rig, in that you get your plastic, you line up your soft plastic with the jig head like this to see where the hook starts to bend. That's where you want to poke it out. And then you just thread it on there as straight as you possibly can. Can't believe it's 7:22 in the morning and I'm already throwing a Ned rig. There we go. As I thought, a little bit deeper. Well, what's going on, folks? Welcome back to the 200 Pond series. My name is Tyler. My goal in this series is to fish up to 200 ponds and teach you guys everything I learned about bass fishing along the way. We've got deep ponds, shallow ponds, dirty ponds, and clear ponds. And today, as all of them usually are, it's a brand new pond. Now, I'm filming this intro right now at the end of my fishing day because I got here just in the nick of time for sunrise, and I wanted to get out there for a potential topwater early morning reaction strike bite. And so without further ado, let's get down a few hours ago to pond number 128. Two rods, one Toyota Highlander, and one pond 128. Now, I told you guys I didn't film the intro for fear of not getting a topwater bite, and honestly, my fears are doubled now that I've seen how still calm it is. The bite today, I think, could either be fantastic or it could be straight up awful. Luckily, the weather has not been in the hundreds here in Texas, but it has been in the high 90s, so really, what's the difference? And so this water should be relatively warm. Maybe some fish are active up shallow this early in the morning. That's why I got out here. Again, one of the biggest keys to catching fish in the hot summertime is getting out there when the fish are actually active, and usually that is early morning. Sometimes it can be a sunset sort of thing. I know Florida has a great sunset bite, but in Texas, I gotta get up at stinking 5 in the morning to drive to the pond to even have a chance at catching fish. So if you're watching this video for one tip, that is your tip right there. Get up early this summertime to catch a dang bass. And honestly, that kind of applies all the way through like end of September, maybe even October here in Texas. In the topwater, I'm starting with this little popper. I know this body of water has very small bait fish, and so I wanted to imitate those. But I hate throwing a popper on a spinning rod. I want to throw it on a bait caster, so I have the Lew's Mach 1 shallow spool. It's the closest thing we have to a BFS combo. The rod is a 6'9" medium light fast, and I really thought I could throw a popper well on this, but it does have 10-pound fluorocarbon, and fluorocarbon sinks, which means for topwater, it stinks. And I knew that going in. I should have not put a topwater on this rod, or should have re-spooled with like 25-pound braid, but I didn't do that. So now I have to work my topwater rod tip up a lot more to keep it from diving. Now, as far as forage goes for these bass to eat in this pond, it is relatively small minnows, maybe threadfin or whatever the heck this neighborhood puts in here. And y'all can't quite see it yet. Maybe you can from the chest mount angle, but we have a little bit of carpet grass down there on the bottom, and it looks like it slopes just kind of standard neighborhood pond slope from 0 feet here at the bank to 3 to 4 feet out there. Not sure about out in the middle. And yeah, man, my popper's already sinking almost every cast. My popper's gonna come around the corner, he's gonna eat it. Okay, I scared him. He says, "Good heavens, you're not scared, buddy? Hello, I have some fish for you." I was hoping I could parallel this wall, but I guess the grass drop off about 8 feet out is still the best place to make a cast. And man, if I haven't caught a bass so far, I mean, I fished for like 6 minutes, which I know is not a long time, but I don't think topwater is really gonna be a ticket today. I'm hardly seeing any surface activity. I'm gonna go work my way real quick down, again, because time is of the essence this time of year. Gonna see if the retaining wall that's kind of lining that entire half of the pond, as opposed to natural grass bank over here, gonna see if the retaining wall side has any deeper edge to it, like the water against the retaining wall is deeper, which may lead to a better topwater bite. And from what I can tell so far, it does not look any deeper against the retaining wall either. How about a cast out into the middle? Don't quite know if I'm casting into 5 feet or 15 feet, but one thing's for sure, I don't think they're biting topwater today. So I'm not even gonna force it. Let's take out the Evolution sling bag here and see what else I can tie on. This here is the bag that I use instead of my largemouth 3.0 full-size bag when I'm just doing a quick pond fishing mission. It can still fit 2 of their 3.6 size boxes. All my stuff though is in my truck in Michigan. I'm back in Texas, that's why I'm very low on supplies today. Matter of fact, I don't think I brought any hard baits at all. Or you know what, I may just throw a dang caffeine shad. Bring out the skunk buster already. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Bait fish, colored imitation, smoky shad, and everything evolution fishing related, from their largemouth 3.0 bags, their backpacks, their tackle trays, the ballistic stuff. For all of it, you can use code TRF2025 to save yourself 20% on your entire order. Supporting the brands that help this channel stay afloat is one of the best ways to keep this content coming and keep it free. We got our caffeine shad rigged up, ready to bust this. Oh my gosh. I hooked myself. Now I'm ready to bust this skunk. And like I said in the intro, this pond really is a bland pond. Not a whole lot going on with it. No trees laying down in the water, no lily pads or grass mats. It is just a wide open area. Yeah, it's got some retaining walls, it's got some shallower banks, but for the most part, it's just a big open bowl with a standard grass line around the entire thing. But you know what? A lot of you guys nowadays fish in new neighborhoods like this. Maybe you didn't fish, your parents, built a new house, you moved into an area, all of a sudden you have a pond in your neighborhood, you might as well pick up fishing. This is probably something to the extent of what your pond looks like. If you're in Florida, probably has a little more grass. If you're in Arizona, California, probably a little bit less. Oh, hello. The bait fish schooled. Got some activity. They seem like happy, clappy bait fish though, not scared bait fish. Yeah, they act a little different if they're scared. Oh my goodness though. Look at this. Y'all gotta see what I found in the water. Whoa, talk about a big crawfish claw. If that's the size of the claw, imagine the size of the whole deal. Okay, so unless somebody had a crawfish boil and dumped the remains in the pond, I think this pond also has some crawfish in it. Which, for a brand new subdivision pond that was drained a few years ago and then refilled with water, this thing has a good amount of bait fish and a good variety too. But man, down with the popper, back with the caffeine shad, and still no bites. I'm gonna break out my other rod that I had pre-rigged today. And that is the brand new Mach Smash, just launched at iCast. I don't know if they are available yet. If they are, I will have them linked below. But the old Mach Smash, one of my favorite combos of all time. I really hope this one is just an even better version of the last type. And I've got the Nessie glide bait on there. I've never thrown this before, but I saw it sitting in my garage, and so I said, I'm gonna give it a shot today. Don't like the action so far. It looks kind of good, like very slowly chopped. Oh no, I did not set the brakes at all. Nice job on your first cast, Tyler. I bet the spool tension is loose as a goose. I've got a spinning rod in my car that I may have to break out earlier than I had wanted, especially after seeing a crawfish. I think a Ned rig could work really well. Man, what in the world? This swim bait looks horrible. You know what? I'm kind of sick of my eyes hurting. I'm staring right into the sun, and that's not going to change for a long time. So I'm going to pack these 2 rods up, drive to the other side of the pond and park, because it looks like there's some parking over there, and fish with the sun at my back. Oh, so much better. And I don't believe the swim bait's gonna be a huge player, so I just left it in the car. I've got the skunk buster already and the Ned rig. Let's catch a dang bass. All right, how about we catch one on the bridge? Wonder if the ground is hard enough for me to stand on. Yep. Do a little bit of wade fishing today. Man, I was really hoping I could get out here at sunrise, get a little topwater action, maybe throw around the skunk buster, catch a few, and get out of here before I break a sweat. But I don't think that's gonna be the case once again. Man, if I could buy a bite, I would. Can't believe it's 7:22 in the morning and I'm already throwing a Ned rig. But it's because the conditions dictated that. If I had any indication they'd be hitting topwater, or they'd be caught, throwing a creature bait or punching or throwing a frog. Ooh. Oh, hold up. I may have just had a big fish. Oh no, I think it was grass. I'm gonna choose to believe it was grass. Okay, I've got whatever it is. It's a stick. False alarm, everybody. All right, so we have something in the water. a willow tree. But like I was saying, if I think a fish could be caught in a more fun way than a Ned rig, I'd be doing that. I just don't think that's the case today. Yep, there's the other dang stick. Bring it in, tree pounder. Ooh, that feels more fishy. Nope, never mind. Never mind, it's a stick. Good grief, what a stick. I got a stick like a dog has a bone that's trying to fit through a doorway. I am the king of catching twigs today. And what's happened to me the last few casts here, snagging sticks, is really why I don't recommend a Ned rig for many of you guys. But if you have a pond like this, has relatively open bottom, maybe some snaggy stuff that you can actually pull off the bottom and retrieve your bait from, then a Ned rig is a great bait. Otherwise, I'd throw something in the column, or if you're gonna go finessey, go drop shot. But seeing that crawfish really makes me think there's a bass out here that wants a little crawless craw, which the Ned rig is, along the bottom. And we got a lot of trees out there. I don't know if this one's coming out. This one feels a little more stuck. Oh no, there it is. Pulling up every brush pile in this lake. Hey, props to this neighborhood for throwing all their, you know, torn down bushes and stuff from building the neighborhood in the pond. That's a good thing. You're never gonna hear me complain about having more cover. It's just making me rethink the Ned rig decision. Oh, I've got one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come on. First bite of the day as I got the Ned up close to the weed edge, and it's not a big one. Oh, but it's a success, and you, my friend, make me feel so good. Look at that. Outcast tackle. Perfect Ned head down the hatch. Yeah, that sucker hooked him well. He was not getting off. And you know what? You are no giant, although you are fat. Look at that belly. But just a 1 pounder to begin the day and get ourselves a success at pond 128. And he tore up my Ned rig, or maybe all the sticks did. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a new Ned rig, show you guys how to rig it. It's about the simplest bait you can possibly rig, in that you get your plastic, you line up your soft plastic with the jig head like this to see where the hook starts to bend. That's where you want to poke it out. And then you just thread it on there as straight as you possibly can, taking your time to make sure it slides up the shank straight. And that right there is a perfectly rigged Ned rig, ready to hop and drag. And that is what you do with this bait. You let it sink down there on the bottom. It's not weedless, so like I said, if you got a whole bunch of stuff that you can't get your bait off of, don't throw a Ned rig. But I get down there on the bottom, and then I kind of shake like this. I'm talking like 4 to 6 inch rod tip movements, and then one kind of big hop. If I have rock down there, I will drag it like this. Really the exact same way you'd retrieve a Texas rig or a drop shot, just a little more finessey. Honestly, shaky head is probably the best comparison for how to work a Ned. The Ned rig really is the lure that most anglers should be throwing a lot more, but they're not, myself included. You know what? I wonder if Bass Forecast recommends a Ned today. Toggle the cover to weeds, and look at that. Ned rig is on there, and soft jerkbait. What does it say for rock though? Oh, Ned rig also applies, top recommendation. We don't have any boat docks today, probably have to stick with, what is this, drop-offs. Mood rating is a 6.0 today. Looks like our pattern is summer, stable barometer, and really the numbers don't change a whole lot. We're in the 4s to 6s until next Thursday, which is a new moon. Probably means they bite a little better there. Y'all know by now, but I'm a co-owner in Bass Forecast, so if you want to check it out, I'll leave the app linked down below. They've got a free version and a premium, and premium honestly pays you to fish it, at least for the first year. You get a Tackle Warehouse gift card, an Omnia gift card, and a bunch of free stuff and discounts. And we're about to launch a huge update to the algorithm that'll make it even better for you guys all across the country, and yes, for you smallmouth guys as well. So I will leave Bass Forecast linked down below. Again, it's not just a sponsor, I own a part of the company, so I have a huge stake in how it does, and I'm really passionate about the project. So please check it out. Man, Ned rig really gets these sticks. Oh, I had a bite there. That was a donk. This little corner here looks deeper though. Oh man, goodness. That one feels really stuck. Oh yeah, holy cow, that's a full-fledged brush pile. And I see like 2 other lures stuck on it as well, so I'm not the only one. See ya. Okay, maybe I do not throw Ned rig today. Maybe I go back to Skunk Buster, because it seems like there is way more wood in the water than I had previously thought. Although, you know what? I'm just really not feeling this today. Everything in me is saying throw a drop shot. But I had planned for the thumbnail and title to be about the Ned rig, dang it. I'm gonna listen to my fishy senses and throw what I should. Okay, drop shot tied on with my favorite small worm, the super finesse worm made of Elastec material. So this is ready to go. And even though my little BFS rod is not rated for a 1/2 ounce tungsten thunder cricket, I want to throw this. I mean, am I underpowered? Yes, but I could probably get the hook into one of these fish. Yeah, I've hopped over 4 sticks already and haven't gotten snagged once. So maybe the Ned rig isn't for as many pond anglers as I thought, but if you have clean bottom, get you one. And if you're under the impression that a drop shot is not a pond lure, yeah, you're wrong, let me tell you. Got him, got him. Get in here, Mr. Drop Shot Eater. You're smaller than the first one. But as usual, my favorite drop shot hook got him right there. Was not coming off. But you know what? I'm not liking the trend of the size we're getting here. It's getting smaller. But I do like that I'm sweating already, but I'm still catching fish. So at least we're not out here for nothing. Now the pattern I'm noticing about both of the bites I've gotten is that the bites have come within about 20 feet of the grass edge. So here, the grass edge is 10 feet off the bank. So another 20 feet beyond that is my productive zone, I guess you could call it. Any cast I make further than that, or I'm retrieving my bait closer than that, is probably not gonna get a bite. I'm not saying it can't be way out there in the middle, but again, the 2 bites I've gotten have been right in the same zone. So I'm gonna really tailor my cast with this, as well as the vibrating jig, to be as parallel as I can down that strike zone, as opposed to just bombing it straight out there in the middle. And I highlight that because I think a lot of pond anglers don't spend enough time thinking about what just happened with the fish that I caught. They say, let me release it and move on to the next one, making casts that are unproductive. I want you guys to make the most productive use of your time possible to catch the most fish. That's what this series really is all about. And if you like this series and it's been useful and helpful to you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're new here, it costs you nothing and it helps me out tremendously. Oh, I've got a fish. I've had a fish for who knows how long and he's swimming at me. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. You're the biggest thing I've ever seen. You know, I had higher hopes for the size bass in this neighborhood, but I guess with them draining this thing, probably digging it deeper for more home lots and then filling it again, honestly, the fact they put bass in here at all is surprising. So give it a few years, this place will probably be a little more productive in terms of size, but it's hard to complain when it's been as hot as it is, and I'm reeling a few in, baby. I don't care how hot it is, the tug is my drug. What in the world? A plastic water bottle got stuck in the concrete as they were building the retaining wall. That's crazy, it's stuck in there. I literally can't get it out. Yeah, that's new neighborhood builds for you. They don't give a rat's behind about quality control. Speaking of neighborhoods though, my neighborhood is not planning on putting fish in our pond. So, you know, your boy has been researching how to get him in there myself. May or may not have put the first bass in a few days ago, huh?
We can't work based solely on rumor, can we?
Maybe I'll home grow my very first pond 10-pounder. Ooh, I see a pipe. Anytime something is sticking out in the water that's different than the rest, there's usually a fish somewhere nearby. And as you can see from the drone shot, this is very different than the rest of the pond. I'm not gonna guarantee a fish is living here, but it's worth a shot. There we go. As I thought, a little bit deeper. You, my friend, are slightly nicer in size. Let's go, 1.5 pounds. Gosh, I do love watching them swim in clear water though. Get in here. See what the genetics these fish have. I mean, look at how thick and chunky that little girl is. I really think, give it like 3 years, we're gonna have some good 5 to 6 pounders in this pond. Thank you, buddy. Have a good life. Well, a fish was near the pipe. He wasn't on the pipe, but he was near it. So technically I wasn't wrong. And I was also correct about my bite coming a little bit deeper. So I've got to adjust my strike window to now be 30 to 40 feet off the bank. All right, last cast. I'm getting hungry. I had to wake up so early this morning. I didn't eat anything. I didn't get my coffee. And if that's the average size bass in this pond, I'm not sure if I want to really start sweating to catch 1 or 2 more of those. Good grief, man. Even like the stinking 200-yard walk back to my car has me sweating. And I know what you're saying, Tyler, you live in Texas. What do you expect? And I expect nothing different. I'm just complaining. But the good news is I'm gonna be all over the northern country, maybe throughout the next 2 months or so. I've got some Minnesota trips, some Wisconsin trips. I may make my way all the way up to the Boundary Waters. Really, really excited for all those trips, but I just wanna get out of the heat and find some fish that maybe are biting a little bit better. But you know what? We proved today that one of my skunk busters, my two main ones being the caffeine shad and the drop shot, but I usually throw caffeine shad more around the spawn time of year, just post spawn. And then once it gets really stinking hot, that's when I pull the drop shot out. And as usual, my favorite spinning rod came in clutch again, the Lew's Signature Series 610 medium extra fast and the custom light shallow spool reel. Really the only spinning combo I probably think I'll ever need for years and years because I just love the way this thing feels. I've got some PEX 8 braid on here, 21 pound, and I believe it's 12 pound or 10 pound Seaguar fluorocarbon as the leader. Of course, all my stuff is linked down in the video description. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna get some dang coffee, maybe a breakfast sandwich. Now, hopefully you'll like this episode. If you did, I will leave another one clickable up here in the corner right here. The 200 Pond series, the entire thing over here in this corner. My name is Tyler. As always, it's a dang pleasure. We'll see y'all next time here on 200 Ponds. Hopefully it's not as hot. And if it is, I'm throwing a frog or something fun.